The big space station called Omega floated in the dark space between stars. Inside the station there was a huge meeting room with a long metal table. Around this table sat creatures from many different worlds. Some looked like tall blue trees with glowing leaves. Others had 6 arms and crystal skin that sparkled under the bright lights. A few looked like giant insects with many eyes. At one end of the table sat 3 humans. They looked very small compared to the alien beings around them. Ambassador G was a woman with short black hair and tired eyes. She had been talking to these aliens for 3 long years. Captain Doyen sat next to her. He was a big man with strong hands that were now pressed tight together. The third human was Dr. Minho. He was thin and wore thick glasses. His fingers moved quickly over a small computer device. The leader of all these aliens was called Eth. She was very tall and made of what looked like living crystal. Her body changed colors when she spoke. Right now she was a cold blue color, which meant she was not happy. Ithara stood up slowly. The room became very quiet. Even the air machines stopped making noise. She held up a long crystal hand and began to speak in a voice that sounded like breaking glass. We have made our final decision about the human race, she said. The council has voted. Your species will be moved to 1-star system only. You cannot leave this system ever again. You cannot trade with other species. You cannot build new colonies. This is our final word. Giwon felt her heart stop beating. For a moment she had worked so hard for 3 years. She had tried to show these aliens that humans were good people. She had shared human art and music and stories. She had helped them solve problems. She had even saved some of their lives when the Void Plague almost killed everyone on Station Beta. But wait, she said, standing up. We helped you stop the Void Plague. We saved the Althari people when their son was dying. We shared our technology with you. We built the new defense systems that protect your worlds. How can you do this to us? Captain Doyen could not stay quiet anymore. His face turned red with anger. He hit the metal table so hard that it made a loud bang. All the aliens jumped back in fear. This is crazy, he shouted. We proved we are good people. We showed you we can help make the galaxy better. We never started any wars. We always tried to help when you asked us. Why are you doing this to us? Itha changed to a dark red color, which meant she was angry too. The decision is final, human, she said in her cold voice. Your species is too dangerous. You are too violent. You change too fast. You solve problems in ways that scare us. You are a threat to peace in our galaxy. What Ithra did not say was the real reason. The council was afraid of humans, but not because they were violent. They were afraid because humans learned fast. When humans first came to space 50 years ago, they had very simple ships and basic technology. Now they had ships that could fly faster than most alien ships. They had computers that worked better than alien computers. They had weapons that were stronger than alien weapons. The council had been watching humans very carefully. They saw that humans could learn any alien technology in just a few months. Other alien species took hundreds of years to learn new things. Humans took everything apart to see how it worked. Then they made it better. This scared the council very much. Dr. Min was not listening to the angry words. He was looking at his computer device. Numbers and pictures moved across the small screen. His face became very white. The numbers showed something terrible. There were many alien ships moving toward human colonies. These ships had big weapons. They were not coming to arrest humans. They were coming to kill all humans. Minho moved closer. Tugyuan, he whispered very quietly in her ear so the aliens could not hear. They are not just sending us away, he said. Look at these numbers. There are warships moving to our colonies right now. They want to kill all of us. One looked at the numbers on Minho's device. Her hands began to shake. She understood what the numbers meant. The council had been planning this for a long time. They had been lying to her for 3 years. While she was trying to make peace, they were planning war. She looked around the room at all the alien faces. Some looked sad, others looked angry, a few looked scared. But none of them spoke up to help the humans. They were all going to let this happen. Jiwon stood up very straight. She looked directly at Ithra. We came here in peace, she said. We shared everything we had with you. We helped you when you needed help. We never lied to you, but you have been lying to us from the beginning. Ithara changed to a bright yellow color. This meant she was surprised. How did the human know about their secret plans? Ji-won continued talking. You think you know everything about humans. You think we are just simple people with basic technology. You think you can easily destroy us. But you made one big mistake. What mistake? Asked Ithra. Her crystal body was changing colors very fast. Now Ji-won smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that meant danger was coming. You think you have seen all of our technology, she said. You think you know how smart we are. You think you understand what humans can do, but you only know what we chose to show you. The room became very quiet again. All the aliens were looking at Ji-won now. Even Captain Doyan and Dr. Minho were surprised by her words. Ji-won reached into her pocket and pulled out a small communication device. He pressed a button and spoke into it, but she did not speak in the galactic common language that all the aliens understood. She spoke in old Korean language using words that the alien translators had never learned. The mountain is falling, she said in Korean. Prepare the storm. Far away on Earth, a woman named President Soman was sitting at her desk. She heard Giwan's message through a special communication system that the aliens did not know existed. She smiled and pressed a button on her desk. "Activate protocol handbook," she said to her assistant. All across the solar system, lights began turning on in hidden bases. Humans who had been waiting for this moment began moving. Ships that the aliens had never seen began powering up their engines. Weapons that the Council did not know existed began charging up. The war was about to begin, but the Galactic Council had no idea what was coming for them. President Soman sat in her office deep under the ground in Seoul. The office was made of thick metal walls that could stop any weapon. Above her head, the city of Seoul was busy with normal life. People were going to work and children were going to school. Nobody knew that their world was about to change forever. A red light flashed on her desk. This meant an urgent message was coming from space. She pressed a button and heard Ambassador Giwon's voice speaking in Old Korean. "The mountain is falling. Prepare the storm." Soman had been waiting for this message for many months. She knew this day would come. Human spies had been watching the Galactic Council for a long time. They had seen the secret meetings. They had read the hidden messages. They knew the aliens were planning to kill all humans. But the aliens did not know that humans had been preparing to. Soman pressed another button on her desk. A man in a military uniform appeared on her screen. This was General Tyon. He was the leader of all human military forces. "The Council has made their move," she said to him. "Begin protocol handbook immediately." "Yes, Madam President," he replied. His face was serious, but his eyes showed excitement. They had been waiting for this moment for 2 years. All across the solar system, secret messages began traveling at the speed of light. But these were not normal radio messages that aliens could hear. These were quantum messages that moved through dimensions the aliens did not even know existed. On Mars, engineer Hyunwoo was working in a hidden factory built deep inside a mountain. For 3 years, he had been building ships using technology that the Galactic Council thought was impossible. These ships could move faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. Their weapons could cut through alien armor like it was paper. Their shields could stop any alien weapon. Hyunwoo smiled as he got the secret message. Finally, he thought, time to show these aliens what human engineers can really do. On the moon, Dr. Nari was in her laboratory working with machines that bent space and time. She had discovered how to fold space so that ships could jump from one place to another instantly. The aliens thought this was just theory. They did not know that humans had been using it for months. The quantum message reached her lab. She looked at her assistant and nodded. "Power up all the dimensional gates," she said. "It's time for the galaxy to see what humans have really been doing in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter." There was a space station that looked like a normal mining station, but inside it was the most secret human facility in the solar system. This was where Dr. Chanho worked with his team of scientists. Dr. Chanho had built something that would change warfare forever. It was a communication system that could send messages instantly across any distance. Not just faster than light, but truly instant. When someone spoke on Earth, someone on the other side of the galaxy could hear them at exactly the same moment. The aliens had no idea this was possible. Their fastest messages took days or weeks to cross space. Dr. Chunho's system meant that every human ship, every human colony, every human soldier could talk to each other as if they were in the same room. Commander Seok was on a ship near Jupiter when he got the message. He had been pretending to be a simple cargo ship captain for 2 years, but his ship was actually a military command vessel filled with the most advanced technology humans had ever built. He called his officers to the bridge. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "the Council thinks they are hunting sheep. They are about to discover they have cornered wolves." His ship looked like an old cargo hauler from the outside, but inside it had weapons that could destroy a planet and shields that could stop a star. The aliens had never seen it because it could make itself invisible using technology. They did not understand. On Earth, Colonel Mingi was in the war room, under the Pentagon. She was looking at holographic maps that showed every alien ship and base in the galaxy. For 3 years, human spies had been mapping everything. They knew where every alien weapon was stored. They knew every alien security code. They knew every weakness in alien defenses. The aliens thought they knew everything about humans because humans had been so friendly and helpful. They had shared some technology and answered many questions, but they had never shown the aliens their best secrets. Mingi smiled as she looked at the maps. The aliens had made their biggest mistake. They thought humans were simple and easy to understand. They were about to learn that humans were the best liars in the galaxy. Dr. Sunho was on a research station near Saturn. He had been studying alien biology for 3 years. The aliens thought he was just a curious scientist who wanted to learn about different species. They did not know he was actually finding ways to defeat them. He had discovered that most alien species had weaknesses that humans did not have. Some could not handle certain sound frequencies. Others became confused in certain types of light. A few had nervous systems that could be disrupted by electromagnetic fields. All of this information was being sent to human military units across the galaxy. Soon every human soldier would know exactly how to defeat any alien they might face. Agent Bora was working inside the Galactic Council headquarters. She had been there for 2 years pretending to be a translator. The aliens trusted her because she was always helpful and friendly. They had no idea she was copying every secret file and recording every private conversation. She knew about every council military plan. She knew which council members supported the war and which ones had doubts. She knew exactly when and where the alien attacks would begin. Most importantly, she had access to the council's main computer system. When the war began, she would be able to shut down their communications and navigation systems from the inside. President Somin looked at reports coming in from all over the solar system. Everything was ready. Hundreds of secret bases were powered up. Thousands of hidden ships were moving into position. Millions of human soldiers and scientists were waiting for orders. The Galactic Council thought they were about to destroy a primitive species that had gotten lucky with some basic technology. Instead, they were about to face the most dangerous predator species that had ever evolved. Humans had spent 3 years learning everything about their enemies while revealing almost nothing about themselves. They had been patient and careful, and very, very smart. Now it was time to show the galaxy what happened when you tried to hunt the hunters. The attack began when the Earth's sun was rising over Asia. Thousands of alien ships dropped out of hyperspace around human colonies across the galaxy. The ships were huge and covered with weapons that could destroy entire cities. The Galactic Council had sent their best fleets to end the human problem once and for all. Admiral Jinwoo sat on the bridge of his ship called the Baekdu. His ship was floating in space near Mars, but the alien fleets could not see it. Human cloaking technology was so advanced that their ships were completely invisible to alien sensors. The aliens had no idea that hundreds of human warships were watching them. The alien commander was called Vorthok. He was a big creature that looked like a walking tank with 6 legs and armor plating. He had destroyed 12 primitive species before, and he thought humans would be just as easy to defeat. Look at their pathetic defenses, he said to his officers. These humans have only a few small ships and basic weapons. We will finish this in 1 hour. What Vorthok did not know was that the human ships he could see were just decoys. They were empty shells controlled by computers. The real human fleet was invisible and waiting. On the bridge of the Baekdu, Tactical Officer Yuna was watching the alien formations through her instruments. Sir, she said to Admiral Jinwoo, they are using the same attack pattern they used against the Zilani rebellion 50 years ago. Formation Delta 7 with standard approach vectors. Admiral Jinwoo smiled. The aliens were so predictable. They had used the same tactics for hundreds of years because they always worked against primitive species. But humans had studied every alien battle in history. They knew exactly what the aliens would do before the aliens did it. The first surprise came when the alien weapons hit the human colonies. The aliens expected their energy beams to destroy human shields and disable human technology. Instead, their weapons had no effect at all. The energy beams bounced off human shields like rain bouncing off a roof. Engineer Hyunwoo had based human shield technology on principles that aliens had never discovered. While alien shields tried to absorb energy, human shields reflected it back at the attackers. The harder the aliens shot, the stronger human defenses became. What is happening? Screamed Vorthok as his weapons failed to damage even one human building. This is impossible. Our weapons destroy everything. But the real shock was yet to come. Suddenly, human ships began appearing out of nowhere all around the alien fleets. They moved in ways that should have been impossible. They could stop instantly and change direction without slowing down. They could appear in one place and then instantly be somewhere else. Naris dimensional folding technology allowed human ships to jump through space without traveling through the distance in between. One moment a human ship would be 1,000,000 kilometers away. The next moment it would be right next to an alien ship firing weapons at point-blank range. The alien fleets tried to retreat but found themselves surrounded. Every time they tried to run, more human ships appeared to block their escape. The aliens had never faced an enemy that could be everywhere at once. Admiral Jinwoo opened a communication channel to all human forces across the galaxy. The quantum communication network that Dr. Chanho had built meant that every human ship and colony could talk to each other instantly no matter how far apart they were. All units, this is Admiral Jinwoo, he said. Operation Stormwind is now active. Show them what happens when they mistake human patience for human weakness. At that exact moment, millions of humans across the galaxy received the same message. Soldiers on distant colonies heard it at the same time as pilots in Earth orbit. Scientists in hidden bases got the message simultaneously with spies inside alien facilities. The aliens had expected to fight an enemy that communicated through slow radio signals that took hours or days to travel between stars. Instead, they found themselves facing an opponent that could coordinate instantly across the entire galaxy. Captain Dojan was now commanding a strike force of invisible ships near the Althari system. He watched as alien supply convoys tried to bring reinforcements to the battle zones. The aliens had no idea that human ships were following their every move. Strike Team Alpha. This is Captain Doyon, he said into his communicator. Target the supply ships first. Without supplies, they cannot fight for long. The human attack was like nothing the aliens had ever experienced. While alien fleets were trying to attack human colonies, human forces were striking at alien supply bases, manufacturing facilities and command centers all across the galaxy. Every attack was perfectly coordinated and timed. Agent Bora was still inside the Galactic Council headquarters pretending to be a helpful translator. She watched as panic spread through the alien leadership like a disease. The council members were running around in confusion, trying to understand how their perfect plan had turned into a disaster. They keep saying it's impossible, she reported to Human Command through her hidden communicator. Their computers cannot calculate how we are coordinating across such vast distances. They think we must have magic or some kind of super technology they have never seen. The truth was even more frightening for the aliens. Humans did not have magic. They had something much more dangerous. They had the ability to think and adapt faster than any other species in the galaxy. While the aliens were still trying to understand what was happening, humans were already planning their next 10 moves. Dr. Minho was on a research vessel analyzing alien technology that human forces had captured. Every alien device that fell into human hands was immediately studied and improved. Within hours, humans could build better versions of alien equipment. The aliens are using quantum resonance frequencies for their shields, he reported to the human fleet. I can build a weapon that will disrupt those frequencies in about 30 minutes. This was the difference between humans and aliens. When aliens found new technology, they spent years or decades trying to understand it. When humans found new technology, they figured it out in hours and then made it better. The alien attack that was supposed to destroy humanity in one day was falling apart after just a few hours. The Galactic Council was learning the most important lesson in galactic history. Never underestimate the species that survived when every other species on their planet went extinct. General Taeyon stood in the command center of the Halcyon, the largest human warship ever built. The ship was so big it could carry an entire city inside, but the aliens had never seen it, because it had been hidden in the shadow of Jupiter's largest moon for 2 years. The massive screens around him showed the positions of every alien ship in the galaxy. Red dots marked enemy forces, while blue dots showed human units. What the aliens saw as an impossible situation was actually a carefully planned trap that had been years in the making, Sir reported. Communications Officer Yoon, the alien fleets are trying to regroup near the Rigel system. They are calling for reinforcements from their home worlds. Good, said General Taeyon. Let them gather their forces in one place. It will make our job easier. The aliens thought they were being smart by bringing all their ships together. They believed that concentrated firepower would help them defeat the mysterious human forces. What they did not understand was that humans had been waiting for exactly this moment. Colonel Minji was studying tactical displays in an underground bunker on Earth. The aliens are following defensive pattern Gamma, she announced to her staff. This is the same pattern they used during the Corvan War 300 years ago. They never learned new tactics. This was the aliens' greatest weakness. They had been the dominant power in the galaxy for so long that they had become lazy and predictable. They used the same strategies over and over because those strategies had always worked against primitive enemies. But humans were not primitive. Humans had studied every alien battle in recorded history. They knew alien tactics better than the aliens did. While the aliens were following ancient battle plans, humans were writing completely new rules of warfare. Agent Bora transmitted critical intelligence from inside the Council headquarters. The Council is ordering all their fleets to form defensive positions around their manufacturing worlds, she reported. They are abandoning their attacks on human colonies to protect their industrial bases. Perfect, said General Taeyon when he received the message. They are doing exactly what we predicted they would do. Begin Phase 2 of the operation. Across the galaxy, human forces began moving like pieces on a chessboard. But this was not a normal game of chess. This was three-dimensional chess played across hundreds of star systems with moves that happened faster than light. The first target was the alien manufacturing facility at Kepler Station. This massive space station built weapons and equipment for half the alien fleets in the galaxy. The aliens thought it was perfectly safe because it was protected by 3 fleets and surrounded by defensive satellites. Commander Seok approached the station with a squadron of human stealth ships. The aliens could not see them coming because human cloaking technology was generations ahead of alien detection systems. All units prepare for dimensional jump, he ordered his pilots. On my mark, we go from invisible to right inside their defensive perimeter. The human ships use Dr. Neris space folding technology to appear instantly inside the station's defenses. Before the aliens could react, human weapons were cutting through the station's armor like a hot knife through butter. But the humans were not trying to destroy everything. They were following very specific orders. Disable the manufacturing equipment, capture the technical databases, take prisoners who could provide intelligence, do not harm civilians or workers. This was another thing that confused the aliens. Most species in the galaxy fought total wars where everything was destroyed and everyone was killed. Humans fought surgical wars where they achieved their objectives with minimal damage and casualties. Dr. Sunho had provided detailed information about alien biology and psychology. Most alien species become paralyzed by fear when faced with superior technology they do not understand, he had reported. They will surrender quickly if we demonstrate overwhelming superiority without actually harming them. At Kepler Station, the alien defenders stopped fighting after just 20 minutes. They had never seen weapons that could cut through their strongest armor so easily. They had never faced enemies who could appear and disappear at will. They surrendered because they realized they were completely outmatched. The same pattern repeated across the galaxy. Human forces struck at manufacturing centers, communication hubs, supply depots, and command facilities. Every attack was precisely planned and perfectly executed. The aliens found their military infrastructure collapsing faster than they could respond. Captain Doyon led the attack on the alien communications center at Vega Prime. This facility coordinated military communications for an entire sector of the galaxy. Without it, alien fleets would be blind and deaf. Remember the rules, he told his assault team. Capture the equipment intact. Take the communication codes. Treat prisoners with respect. We are not conquerors, we are liberators. This was the philosophy that President Soman had established for all human military operations. Humans were not interested in destroying alien civilization. They wanted to free the galaxy from the corrupt and stagnant rule of the Galactic Council. The assault on Vega Prime was over in 15 minutes. The alien defenders were so shocked by human technology that they barely put up a fight. When they saw human soldiers treating wounded aliens with medical care, they realized these were not the savage primitives that Council had described. Some of the alien prisoners began talking to their human captors. "We were told you were violent monsters," said one alien officer. "But you fight with honor and treat your enemies with kindness. The Council lied to us about what humans are really like. This was part of the human strategy. Show the galaxy that the Council had been lying about everything. Prove that humans were not the threat the Council claimed they were. Demonstrate that human leadership would be better than Council rule." Meanwhile, the alien homeworlds were experiencing their own shock. For the first time in their history, the ruling species of the galaxy found enemy ships appearing in their own star systems. Dr. Neris' dimensional folding technology allowed human forces to bypass all alien defenses and strike directly at the heart of Council power. Alien leaders who had never seen a real battle suddenly found human warships appearing outside their palace windows. But again, the humans did not attack civilian targets. They struck only at military bases, government facilities, and symbols of Council authority. The message was clear. The war was against the Council, not against alien peoples. The psychological effect was devastating for the Council leadership. They had ruled through fear and intimidation for thousands of years. Now they were the ones who were afraid. Counselor Ithera, the crystal being who had dismissed humanity just days before, was hiding in her private chambers when human ships appeared over her home world. For the first time in her long life, she understood what it felt like to be helpless and afraid. General Tayon watched the reports coming in from across the galaxy. Every objective had been achieved ahead of schedule. Alien military power was crippled. Council authority was shattered. The old order was crumbling faster than anyone had thought possible. It had taken just 72 hours to bring down a galactic empire that had ruled for 3,000 years. The age of the Galactic Council was ending and the age of humanity was about to begin. The great council chamber that had once been the center of galactic power was now filled with defeat and fear. The crystal walls that had witnessed 3,000 years of alien rule were cracked and darkened. Emergency lights cast strange shadows across the faces of the surviving council members. President Somin walked into the chamber wearing the blue and white uniform of the United Earth Federation. Behind her came Admiral Jinwoo, General Taeyon, and Ambassador Jiwon. Their footsteps echoed in the silent room as they approached the council table. Just 72 hours earlier, these same humans had been dismissed as primitive savages. Now they stood as the undisputed masters of the galaxy. The transformation was so complete and so swift that many of the alien council members still could not believe it was real. Counselor Ithera tried to maintain her dignity as she faced the human delegation. Her crystal body was a dull gray color, which meant she was filled with despair and shame. "We demand to know how you achieved this," she said in a voice that shook with fear and anger. "Your technology should not be able to do what we have witnessed. You were classified as a primitive species." President Soman smiled, but there was no warmth in her expression. "That classification was your first mistake," she replied. "You judged us based on what we chose to show you, not on what we were capable of doing." She activated a holographic projector that filled the chamber with images of human technology. The alien council members gasped as they saw spacecraft that could fold space and time, weapons that could cut through any known material, communication systems that worked instantly across infinite distances. But the most shocking revelation was still to come. These images showed human colonies and facilities that had been hidden throughout the galaxy for years. Humans had not been confined to one small corner of space as the aliens believed. They had been everywhere, watching everything, learning from every species they encountered. "For 5 years," said President Soman, "we have been studying your technology, your tactics, your weaknesses. We have been inside your facilities, working alongside your scientists and engineers. We have been present at your most secret meetings. We know more about your capabilities than you know about ours. The alien council members looked at each other. With growing horror, they realized that every human scientist who had worked with them, every human diplomat who had attended their meetings, every human trader who had visited their worlds had been gathering intelligence. Dr. Minho stepped forward, carrying a data tablet. We have complete technical specifications for every weapon system in your arsenal, he announced. We have detailed maps of every military installation in the galaxy. We have copies of every classified document in your databases. You have no secrets from us. This was the truth that terrified the aliens more than human weapons or technology. Humans had been playing a game of deception that lasted for years. While the aliens thought they were dealing with simple primitive beings, humans had been conducting the most sophisticated intelligence operation in galactic history. Colonel Minji activated another display showing the current military situation. Your fleets are destroyed or captured, she reported. Your manufacturing capability is reduced by 90%. Your communication networks are under our control. Your home worlds are defenseless. The war is over and you have lost. But we showed you mercy, said Admiral Jinwoo. We could have destroyed every alien world in the galaxy in a matter of hours. Instead, we chose to disable your military and capture your leaders. We proved that humans are not the monsters you claimed we were. The alien council members were beginning to understand the full scope of their defeat. Humans had not just won a military victory, they had demonstrated moral superiority by showing restraint and compassion even toward enemies who had tried to commit genocide against them. Commander Seok spoke next. Every alien prisoner we captured has been treated according to galactic conventions. Every wounded alien has received medical care. Every civilian population has been protected. We have shown you what real civilization looks like. This was perhaps the most devastating blow of all. The Galactic Council had claimed to represent civilization and order in the galaxy. But when faced with a crisis, they had immediately resorted to genocide and massacre. Humans who were supposedly primitive and violent had shown more honor and mercy than the self-proclaimed guardians of galactic peace. President Somin walked closer to the council table. The old order is finished, she said. The Galactic Council is dissolved. Your authority over other species is ended forever. From this day forward, the galaxy will be governed by different principles. She placed a document on the table. This is the charter for the new Galactic Federation, she announced. Any species that wishes to join us is welcome. But understand that we will never again allow the strong to prey upon the weak. We will never again permit genocide or oppression in the name of order. The charter outlined a system of government based on human principles of democracy, equality, and justice. Species would be represented according to their population and contribution, not according to their military power or ancient privileges. Ambassador Juan, who had suffered through 3 years of alien arrogance and deception, spoke with quiet authority. You called us too violent, too unpredictable, too dangerous, she said. You were right about one thing. We are dangerous. We are dangerous to tyrants and bullies and those who abuse their power. General Taeyeon delivered the final ultimatum. You have one choice to make, he said. You can accept the new order and work with us to build something better than your failed council. Or you can oppose us and face the consequences of that choice. The threat was clear without being spoken. Humans had demonstrated their ability to destroy the entire galactic civilization in a matter of days, but they had also shown their preference for building rather than destroying, for inclusion rather than domination. Counselor Ethera looked around the chamber at her fellow council members. She saw defeat in every face. She understood that the age of alien supremacy was over forever. We accept your terms, she said in a voice barely above a whisper. The Galactic Council surrenders unconditionally to human authority. President Somin nodded. The surrender is accepted, she said. But remember this moment. Remember what happened when you tried to destroy a species that offered you only friendship and cooperation. Remember the price of underestimating human patience and human mercy. As the former council members filed out of the chamber in shame and defeat, Captain Doyen allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The species that had once dismissed humans as primitive had learned the most important lesson in the galaxy. Never mistake human restraint for human weakness. Never confuse human kindness with human helplessness. And never try to hunt the species that became the apex predator on a world where everything was trying to kill them. The age of the Galactic Council was over. The age of humanity had begun. And across the galaxy, former enemies were learning that sometimes the best way to avoid a fight is to make sure your opponent knows exactly what will happen if that fight begins. The message had been delivered. The word had been given, and that word was not run. That word was remember.